Frank ranks week number 35, 2025. We have 10 books to talk about today. It's Marvel, it's DC, it's Independence. Who's going to be up on top? Let's talk about them right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, let's talk about these 10 comic books that I've read this week. And we're going to rank them from 10 all the way down to number 1. And who's going to be on top this week? It might surprise you this week. Alright, so let's start with number 10. And this is a Marvel and a DC book, I guess, combined. And that is Deadpool Batman, done by Zeb Wells, who is one of the writers of the amazing show She-Hulk. Of course, I kid. That show was garbage. And I'm a big fan of She-Hulk. So yes, we have him to be one of those people to blame for that. And we have somebody to blame for this piece of crap. Along with a bunch of other people. So this, I just saw Townsend on there. Did Tim Townsend ink some of this stuff? God, he's a friend of mine. I haven't seen him in forever. But anyway, so this is about Deadpool somehow being in Gotham because Joker brought him there from a portal or something. I don't know, but Batman is a complete idiot in here too because he allows himself to get captured, but he is not worried about them taking off his mask. I'm very confused about that. I think that's the stupidest thing ever. And on top of that, we have a lot of non-funny jokes with Deadpool continuously. I don't know, and then it didn't really make any sense. And then Batman, sets everything up and says, "Oh, Joker, Deadpool's really into me now. He's going to be my new, guy that has an obsession. And you're going to be knocked out of this. You're not going to be my number one obsessed guy anymore." Yeah, it was almost like, what? And then, like, the panel later, Deadpool's like, he's pretty cool, right? He has a big cock. I don't know. I can suck the hell out of that. That's what it felt like. It was just such posturing to the nth degree. This was garbage. This was garbage. He sat on his thing and went, "It is funny. It is funny. I'm so funny." Everybody else was like, "It's not funny. But I'm funny, I swear." Garbage writing. Anything that has Zeb Wells on it, I go, doot. I normally step away from it, but I figured I'd give it a shot because it had other stuff in here as well. The Green Lantern Daredevil one, and I don't know why they didn't get any DC writers. DC writers are better than Marvel writers right now, but this is all Marvel. This is all Marvel writers. And this is why it's crap. There's another Deadpool Batman coming out, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go there. Grant Morrison, I think. But anyway, the Daredevil Green Arrow, like Hornet, Lantern. There's a whole bunch of greens that I got my brain going here. But it's the Arrow guy. That one was okay. There really wasn't enough there. The Crypto, Jeff the Land Shark thing, there's no dialogue. It was like, okay, this is cute, whatever, bye. And the only one that was semi-funny was the Rocket Raccoon Green Lantern, although there's no way that he just handed the ring to Rocket. It doesn't work that way. It would have just flown right back to him. And then he wouldn't be able to use it anyway. So, I don't know, but it was pretty funny that he got all the Infinity Stones and became Parallax, and I thought that part's funny. I actually would have loved to have seen that in a real book, as opposed to 2 sentences or 2 pages. I mean, and then the stuff with Frank Miller with Logan and Batman was bad. Even the art was bad. And then we had the logo at the end. Like, Was that? Is actually a logo? This is my logo. So it's like Lobo and Logan. So hey, I like that logo. It's bad. It was crap. But anyway, that is why it is number 10. I don't think it's gonna be worth shit either. So all the amalgam stuff back from the 90s is not worth anything. Okay, so jumping, I talked about this one way too much because basically it's like 3 issues in one. That's why it's like 50 pages. But it still wasn't worth $6. All right, the next one is an independent book by Dynamite, and I was really looking forward to this, and that is Blue Falcon and Dynamite. I just didn't like the direction. This is by Palmiotti. I like Palmiotti. I like his Jonah Hex stuff. He loves westerns. He and I had a big long conversation about, because I was producing a western at the time. I think I just finished when he and I were talking about it, and we actually talked about him writing a movie. But anyway, I was a fan of this. I was a fan of the TV show of Blue Falcon and Dynamite. Of course, they tried to revive him in like the Scooby-Doo cartoons, the Scooby-Doo movies that had been out recently, and this is just crap. And I guess he's gonna turn the dog into a robot, I guess, because the dog gets shot. But anyway, this took a different direction. This is not they've proposed redoing, which is kind of what I was hoping for. Redoing Space Ghost into something that was a little bit more, more adult and darker. And this ain't it. It's all over the place. And I really don't like the way he's re-evaluating the character and developing him. It just doesn't work for me. I know a lot of people liked it. Great. But it's just not for me. Okay, number 8. This is a Marvel book. So we got a lot of Marvel this week. Way more than normal. And that is by Alex Segura, Star Wars. Like I said in the previous things, I love his Dick Tracy. His Dick Tracy's great. He just does not get Star Wars. I can't even tell you. This is issue 5. Technically, if he was writing for the trade, it should be over in the next issue. And there's no stopping in sight here. So I don't even know what the story's even about. It's already diluted, and we're only on issue 5. If he's going to take this all the way to issue 12, this thing is going to be like dragging a corpse through a minefield and barbed wire. There's going to be nothing left of what the story even is now, of which it's nothing. I have no idea. It started out, with this whole trade thing that they were being set up by another planet and whatever. And then it's all gone already. And then they're chasing after this other guy. That's like a revolutionary. I don't even know anymore. It's just, I'm over it. As you can tell, I'm over it. And I like all the characters in here. So Luke, Han, Lando, and Valance all go into, I guess they find the ship or whatever. They get in there, and they're surrounded by battle droids, and they somehow live. They're literally surrounded, where literally 5 blasts would have killed him, all but Luke, and because Luke couldn't block everything from the front and the back, so they'd at least be wounded. Nothing. I mean, there's no stakes to this thing whatsoever. So he builds up this big battle, and there is some good action in here, but there's no stakes. There's no stakes to this thing at all, and no direction. This thing's completely rudderless. It's going nowhere. I mean, I can't even tell you what this thing's even about, much less what their goals are. So this is 5. I gave it till 5. I'm done. I'm sorry, Alex, I'm done. That is one less Star Wars book. I'll wait for them to reboot it again, I guess, because he's going to be going with this for the next 7, 8 issues. And good luck to him, man. All right, so the next one, we are number 7, and that is a DC book, and that is Titans. So I am not a fan. There's a lot of bad books this week, or very average books. Only when I get to like the top 3 were they good. So I just read a whole lot of average or bad books this week. That's unfortunate. So I am not a fan of Beast Boy in the least. He is on a scale of heroes. He is like on the bottom for me. I just don't give a shit about this character, especially not after. The best thing about him is his relationship with Raven, and if they keep those two together, he's way more interesting. But here, no Raven, because we have this Beast Girl thing, and she got powers because of absolute power, which I thought that was the stupidest thing ever from Mark Waid. It just didn't make any sense how you can take people's powers away and move them, and magic and DNA. So I'm a Kryptonian, you take my Kryptonian powers, or my ring, or Green Lantern. How do you take that? The original Amazo duplicated them to some degree. He didn't steal them and rearrange them like you're playing 5-card Monty. It's stupid. It was stupid. But anyway, this is still remnants from that thing. They will never let that go, apparently. So this is Gar. So they had a battle in the tunnels, in the Titans tunnels, and instead of him helping, because even Wonder Woman came in there to help clean everything up, he's like, "Nah, I'm going to the beach, guys. See ya. You guys have fun working, cause and I'm supposed to feel for this guy, where he's like, "Go fuck yourself, team. I'm out of here. I don't feel like doing any manual labor." Right there, I should have said, "Nah, I'm done. Whatever story this is, I'll skip it." Thankfully, it was only 2 issues, and we're fighting this guy called a zookeeper who wants his powers back because Beast Girl has his powers, but he said he's going to take the powers from him and from her and Gar, which I would have been fine with. Give me a good villain out of 2 bad heroes. And at the end, he comes back, him and Cyborg, and Cyborg's already... So it's just him and Cyborg during with Doom Patrol, and I guess that Cyborg's powers were, like, nulled for wherever they were, was nulling their powers, and him and Robot Man. And they sat there while everybody else was fighting. They're having a conversation going, "I don't feel human anymore." Like, what? This is not the time to have a heart-to-heart. Or whatever you call a heart in Cyborg and Robot Man's case. I don't know. Anyway, this it wasn't bad. I can't say that it was just plain awful. It was just very average. And anyway, the end of this, they go back and they set up the DCKO stuff. And I'm hoping that that's good, but I don't have high hopes. All right. We're going into number 6. Now, this one here is another DC book, which I know a lot of people just didn't even rate because the writer of this got in trouble for I'm just going to say their mouth. So they canceled this book on the day it was released, and that is Red Hood. I am a big fan of The Huntress, and I'm going to rate this not based on the stuff that the person said. And however, I got to thank them because I think the thing's worth 25, 25, 30 bucks already. It just came out because of the all of the stuff surrounding the book. All of the discourse surrounding the book. So thank you very much for giving me 25 bucks. But I'm a big fan of Huntress, and I thought the art was generally good in here. I really wish they'd put Red Hood's helmet back on, because that's when he looked the best. When he had the helmet, and he had the tan jacket with the bat symbol on. I don't know why. I mean, you can't compare that to this. I understand him walking around a city during the day and having this kind of look. I get that. But through the whole thing, he's complaining about how hot it is. And he's wearing all these layers. So you get what you pay for, bro. If you're walking around with 3 jackets on, yeah, it's going to be hot, bro. So we get introduced to this character named Royal, which I thought looked pretty good. But anyway, I guess they're in France or something like that. And Huntress basically comes in and saves them, and he's like, "Nah, man, I got it." So it had some decent stuff in it, which is why it's kind of more in the middle. And again, it was still average, but it was on the good average side as far as I'm concerned. It wasn't awful, and but it's mired in its all its problems. So we won't be seeing a number 2. All right, so before we continue, remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. Make sure that thumbs up there. Likes always help. If you can subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding ding. Always helps to grow the channel out, and you'll get notified about when I do additional videos. Also share this video out there so people see if what's going on in comics, even if they're not, if they're not collecting. It's always kind of fun to see what Marvel and DC and the independents are doing, because these things end up on your screen somewhere. A lot, just like Afterburn, which was an independent comic I've never even heard of, but whatever. Also, remember too that I am a writer myself, so check out the stuff on Amazon. You can just type my name into Amazon, or you can click the link in the description below. You'll see my 4-novel sci-fi epic quadrilogy called Destiny Aurora. So if you like, Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Trek, Star Wars, you're gonna love it. It's kind of an amalgam of all those things kind of put together. So it's an epic space fantasy, and it was made into a board game, an RPG, a graphic novel. It's on Audible as well. So if you like to listen to books, you'll definitely find it there, and you'll have a lot of fun with that. Also, my YA fantasy book, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. So if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, we do have dragons in here. We have a magic system. Anyway, you'll probably like that a lot as well. Also, my new graphic novel, Fairy Tales of Terror, where we have a psycho Cinderella, a killer Captain Hook, and we have from Neverland Tiger Lily chasing them down through the streets of New York as they leave bodies in their wake. It's lots of fun. Artwork's really good. I didn't do the artwork myself. That's why I can say it's good. And we are on Kickstarter right now in our final few days. We are over 300% funded right now. We're unlocking stretch goals, so there's free stuff, including, I think we just unlocked the Tiger Lily figure. We unlocked the Psycho Cinderella figure, STL, so you print them out at home. But they look really cool. You can go to the campaign and check that out. But definitely jump in there now. The QR code is here, or the link in the description below. But jump in before it's too late, because we only have a few days left. And you can buy it digitally, or I sign them if you're getting a hard copy. The Destiny Aurora graphic novel is on there as well if you want to check that out. And the audio book too. All right, so let's jump back into number 5. And this is the only one I read digitally, and that is The Invisible Man. I think that's it by Image. But anyway, this is the Universal Monsters adaptations. So I think the last issue was better than this issue. This is still being a setup of... He has some kind of a... I think that comes out this week. I don't even think it's out yet. But he has some kind of a pissed off moment with one of the other guys that are, one of the other inventors or whatever else. And he has like a monkey in his lab, and he sets off this. He has a cat that he made invisible, but it escaped. So people are seeing like fish walk down the alley by itself and stuff like that. So it had, I guess it had its moments, but it's still, as far as I'm concerned, a setup, because Invisible Man still didn't even make an appearance yet, and we're going into issue 3. He's still having a conversation with his fiancée. Her dad doesn't like him yet. All this other stuff. So anyway, it's okay at this point, but I'm kind of waiting for this thing to finally get going. Because there's a lot you can do with the Invisible Man. I know it's a Claude Rains, but if you're going to do an Invisible Man thing, why do you have to stick to it? You can just do whatever you want. Like Kevin Bacon did it, All right, jumping into number 4. And that is another Star Wars book, Jedi Knights. And again, disappointing. So everything up to this point, including this one, is, as far as I'm concerned, disappointing. Nothing really stood out to me for any of these books. So as you can see from the cover, we literally have space ninjas. I'm like, come on, man. You can't think out of the box to make them look different, whatever else. They literally look exactly like space ninjas. So we have Qui-Gon, who's been poisoned by an assassin. They're like, oh, we have to get him our antidote, but the only place to get the antidote is a place that hates Jedis. Of course. So they take him there, and they go, and they immediately get attacked by these space ninjas. And Ileia, I think that's how you're saying her name, the blue Twi'lek, says, all right, we're just going to lay down our weapons. And Mace is like, I hope you're right about this. So they're taken to the Ninja King. See how silly it is? It's silly. And it's only because he couldn't think, imaginatively than space ninjas. But anyway, she's taken to the throne room. They're like, we need this antidote. Whatever we need to do. I know you don't like us, but whatever we need to do, we're going to do it. And he says, well, there's a big monster terrorizing the place. I feel like I was in a video game. And they're like, well, we need to go on this side quest. So they have to go fight a monster, and then they get the thing, but then they bring him back, and now his fate is up in the air. Why didn't they pick anybody else than Qui-Gon? We already know what his fate is. He's not going to die from this poison. So there's no stakes because we already know he's not going to die. Unless he's there changing canon. And I guess then we'll have Darth Maul running around on his real legs. I don't know. It's disappointing. It wasn't bad. There was good action in it, but disappointing. All right. So, number 3. Another Alex Segura book. Now we're getting to the good stuff. And that is Dick Tracy, number 12. So, this is the third storyline. See, he's told by the editors here that he can't take anything above 5 or 6 issues to tell a story. And that's why this is much better. Where in Star Wars, he said, the editor from Star Wars said, how long do you want to take it? 36 issues, 54 issues? You don't even need to tell a story. Just write a whole bunch of shit and put it in. At least here, there's a direction here. So we started out with this is the previous issue, with his buddy from the army that he went to war with, who was like a spy, and he was visiting him, and was trying to tell him something, but his apartment got blown up. Pat Patton got sniped, his partner, and which I found I was like, what the? So his partner's in the hospital. Tess is kind of trying to help him out. He's trying to track down this other spy that he finds on a plane. Meanwhile, we have these two, I guess they call them a summer twins or something like that. I think it's like May and June or something like that. And that's their names. And they're robbing stuff. But meanwhile, we have this car chase where he's trying to run to the airport to stop the spy. They're running him off the road, and they finally they know but he knows where they're going. He knows where the spy is going, and Tess kind of says, yeah, you're taking me with you because Pat's not with you. You and I are going to go together. So, good stuff, man. I'm not really a big fan of this artwork. Look at the noses. This is how the interior artwork is, too. The noses are just like dog noses. This artist can't draw noses, just like Liefeld can't draw feet. The same type of thing. All right, number 2. We're getting up there. We're getting up there now. Number 2 is DC, as you can tell from Peacemaker. Number 2, we have Batman and Robin. This is the new storyline, and thank God. Thank God for the new storyline. He's another one that just didn't know when to end that whole Memento thing. It dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged. Until there was just nothing left but a friggin' cell. And the end of the conclusion of it was just disappointing. So when you have to go through a huge storyline and have a disappointing ending, you got problems, man. So we start out, this is called The Quiet Man. The Penguin is drawn very, very well in here. And we start out with Tiger Shark, I think is the villain. And they're taking him down, right? So Batman and Robin are taking him down. There's some really good stuff that I kind of like the artwork. That's a little bit stylized, but I kind of like it. And he tells Damian that he's proud of him and stuff like that. There's some good stuff in there. Meanwhile, Penguin's like, yeah, to the Batman for taking down our competition. Woohoo! But then the Quiet Man comes in and wipes them all out. He hits the Iceberg Lounge. So there's good stuff in here. I'm waiting to see where this goes. But again, if this thing drags out beyond 6 issues, that means that he's just, he doesn't know how to stop himself, and there's no editor to stop him. But I'm not doing these 12-issue story arcs. I'm just not doing. I don't care, because by the time you get to 7 and then 8 and then 9, it's so drawn out that it's not even worth collecting. I'll just make up my own ending. All right, and number 1, and you're going to be very shocked for people that have watched my series from the beginning or even the last few. Normally, it's an independent that is the last one, almost every single time. And this is the first time that it is not. Woo! So what is it? Is it Marvel? Is it DC? What is it? It's actually Marvel. And that'll say something because Marvel is usually at the bottom of the list. And that is The Punisher, number 1. Yes, we have Frank Castle back. Punisher is one of my favorite characters. He kind of helped me get through college when I was, with Mike Zeck. Mike Zeck is still he is still the ultimate artist for Frank Castle, no doubt. But this is Red Band because there's a lot of blood. Red Band thing is a gimmick for me. I don't really give a shit. It's just for the ability for them to charge more money for no reason. But anyway, so I think this is by Benjamin Percy, I think. And a lot of people liked the Aaron run from before this. But to me, he destroyed the Punisher. I hated it. I hate where there's some stuff I liked, but what they did with him, making him psychotic as a child, bringing his wife back where he was a bad husband, all that, I hated all of it. So Benjamin Percy's like, all right, we got to get rid of that whole Jason Aaron run. So what are we going to do? So he makes it almost like the Bourne Identity, where he doesn't remember anything. But there's a reason behind that, which ends up being a pretty good idea. So we start out with him just killing people right and left. He's got an Uzi. He's all bloody. Everybody's dying all over him. Really good stuff. The artwork is a little bit too stylized in here because then we get to Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, and he just looks ginormous. And he forces a priest to kill himself and stuff like that. And then you realize that he is trying to manipulate certain things, and which is kind of his character. Meanwhile, Frank ends up washing. I think he was washing up on a beach, whatever else. But anyway, he's found by a woman, an older woman, who takes it, or he basically forces her to take it back to his place without calling the cops. She helps him stitch himself up, and as this is all happening, his head starts to pound, and we realize that the Kingpin has a chip in his head or something like that, and is controlling him. Hence the lack of his memory, which is great. Really, really good setup. I really like this, and I am so glad that Frank Castle is back. All right, well, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think. Remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And get notified about when I release. I'm going to go see a couple of movies this weekend as well. My review for Dead of Winter probably just released before I release this one. So yeah, definitely check all that out. And on top of that, remember too to check out my stuff on Amazon. Just type my name in or link in the description below, and jump into Fairy Tales of Terror right now before it ends. QR code is on the other side of me here, or the link in the description below. You're going to have a lot of fun with that. And again, I do sign them, and it is #1, so definitely check that out. All right, thanks for watching, guys. You guys have an amazing week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.